Hey, all you Arizona lovers. This is the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose.
And I'm your producer, Brittany.
And here at Finding Arizona podcast, we collect the local stories of all entrepreneurs and from around the valley. So join us at findingarizonapodcast.com, where you can hear every episode and see it as well at
YouTube. Like, subscribe, and comment below who you want to see next on our show. And when you're ready to start your podcast, you found the right spot. Found House, your next podcast production company.
Now, let's get back to the show. Score big with SeatGeek. Whether it's concerts, sports, or live events, SeatGeek has you covered. Use code FindingArizona to get a fantastic $20 discount on your SeatGeek tickets. Catch your favorite live events hassle-free with extra savings. Visit SeatGeek.com and make every experience unforgettable. Welcome back, everybody, to the Finding Arizona podcast. I'm your host, Jose, and as always, we bring in fantastic guests, and today is no different. I would love to introduce Chad here. Thank you so much for coming. I'm very enthusiastic about today because what we're going to get into is a lot of things. You wear a lot of hats, and one of the ones that we're going to be talking about is EO Arizona, which is Entrepreneur's organization.
That's right.
And you're the president. So welcome, first off. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, I appreciate it. This is awesome to be here. I'm very excited to chat with you and talk business in Arizona and all that. So,
yeah. So one of the things that I typically ask everyone is give us a little bit of your origin story.
Yeah.
During my research, originally roofing guy, like roofing, and then also you're one of very, very few, but very like cool, like Kansas boy, from Kansas State. I know I had an old boss that I used to work with. Him and his partner were Kansas boys. Like they both went and graduated, started a business together.
There you go.
I was like, that's so amazing. Like
you've done your research. So born and raised in Kansas.
Yeah.
I left Kansas a long time ago. I was trying to think of when I left Kansas. I think it was 23, 24.
Wow.
Came to Arizona the first time, moved to Tucson initially back then. But yeah, so backing up, I started my first business at 15 years old.
Yeah.
That was in Kansas, a roofing company. And I've been in the roofing space a couple of times.
Yes.
So also one larger business in Colorado, but started the first one in Kansas. Learned a lot of hard lessons in that business.
I imagine.
Yeah, actually lost that business in bankruptcy.
Oh no!
So, hard, expensive lesson. But 11 businesses in my career.
Okay.
7 of those went in the home services space.
Okay.
So in the roofing, we were a very large roofing contractor in the Front Range of Colorado. So we roofed about 6,500 roofs a year.
Nice.
I don't know, 300 employees. That was a large business.
Yeah.
But then, coming to Arizona. I've been in Arizona twice now. So Tucson initially, way back when, and left and went to Colorado and then back. So now I've been in Arizona for 16 years.
In that period where you were in Colorado, was that the 2008 area or what?
It was before that.
Okay.
But I came back to Arizona in 2010. So.
Okay.
So I went through that 2008
in Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a painful time. For
I was curious because again, the manufacturer, like your business with like home and just seeing that from the market of where Phoenix was when they were structuring, like building, like basically abandoned communities. Like as soon as the downturn happened, you just walk into these like places of tracts of land where just blank or just like a few homes, like the starter, like. Showing the homes and like everything else was blank. And so weird time to like have a business, but also just again, when I hear someone who says that their career spans this long, it brings up a lot of things. 2008 was a downturn.
Yep.
And then on top of that, you've been through the pandemic as well. So you've seen some flux of like down, up, and you've seen it kind of go every which way. That's cool. Like to me, it says that you're seasoned enough to be like weathering the storm when something bad happens.
Yeah, I think what you're saying in a nice way there is I've got a lot of gray hairs.
All of this is earned.
It's
all of this is earned.
Yeah, every darn one of those. but yeah, honestly, I just I had a big milestone birthday, last week. So
Congratulations.
I'm sort of feeling that that kind of age thing setting in. But in reality, like you say, from a business perspective, the scars and the pain and the ups and the downs, the wisdom comes with those things, I think.
Yeah.
And from an entrepreneurial perspective, it's, you don't really learn the path to successful business by everything being easy, right?
Yeah.
And back in 2008, and even the pandemic. During the pandemic, I owned a large pool service company here in Arizona, Aquaman Pools. So service 2,000 pools a week.
Nice.
And we didn't really know what we were going to do, right? I mean, luckily it was sort of an outdoors kind of business.
Yeah.
So we fared better than, some others, but man, those were scary times for business people.
But also, I'm thinking about it too, because every time my mind goes somewhere, it's to a place of like empathy where I'm trying to I guess connect in a sort of fashion. I have a pool. So when you brought up pools, it's like, I understand the headache of dealing with it and having to upkeep it. The other aspect of it is it's a unique career in a unique business and a unique market. Essentially, you have a 6 month period, or however long, 8-month period, where things are like wintry, it's like, it's like you guys are comfortable. And then that 3 to 4 months where you're just miserable in the sun and but that's critical mass time where it's like people want their pools clean, fixed, whatever during those months. So it's like, structuring it, I guess, can be a little bit weird, but in a sense of you have to follow what the market is telling you. I imagine that was kind of interesting in the sense of pools.
Well, and I think from an entrepreneurial or business perspective, the employee aspect of pools, because in the summer, it's the worst job in the world in Arizona. Yeah. It's terrible. Every year we'd have some technician walk in and just put his keys on the counter and say, love the company, love you guys, but I literally can't do this one more day. Yeah. And it's just very difficult because it being outside in this weather, right? It's like landscaping other companies that deal with the heat, right? In the winter, the opposite is true. It's the best job in the world in November, right?
I'm like, can you imagine the joy of a November shift of just going in, headphones on, just like, hey, I'm good.
Yeah. But I always told our employees that, and I think in any business, you sort of have this aspect of what is the company about? What do we do for the customer? Yeah. And I always said, think of the fact that we're creating memories for a for the customer. It's like that nice pool they spend time in with their family is sort of what you're doing as the employee.
Yeah. So, and it's like the hope is that they throw a party or they have a guest or friend come over and hey, this is great. I love how clean, it looks great. And they're like, yeah, my guy, the guys did a really good job. Yeah. So that feeling of recognition later down the road or some kind of path to where another person comes in and checks you out is just it's just the fun of it.
Well, I think any business has, for a business to be successful, they have to sort of figure out what that is, right?
Yeah, so, exactly.
Every business has a flywheel that turns, right? And part of that is why. It's the why for the business, right?
And when I was doing the podcasting during the pandemic, one of the things that I was really striding for our episodes was finding the silver line. I know it's a bad time, but you brought up what I call it is the bread and butter. If you can find the bread and butter, the thing that your community that is built around you, your network comes back to you over and over again. If you can find that and really look inward and say, hey, we have this thing that people keep coming back to. How do we improve upon that so that we can stay afloat and also give back to everyone who's looking for us and our product or our service, whatever it may be?
It's the important core value. So, obviously you touched on a little bit about what I do now. I'm a coach. Yeah. Business guy to help businesses grow. So I sold my last business 3 years ago and just focus on helping businesses grow now. But people will come to me and say, these are our core values. And, you take construction for a minute, out of 11 businesses, 7 of those were in home service construction space. Contracting companies will say, oh, we do good work. And I'm like, whoa, that's not a core value. Yeah. Because you should do good work. Nobody, you would never tell a customer you don't do good work, right? Yeah. I call that made bed. You go to the hotel you check into the room, you expect the bed to be made, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a contractor of any kind, doing good work is not a core value, right? So
it's kind of the bare minimum.
It's like that is made bed, right?
Yeah.
So I think entrepreneurs and businesses, one of the things that's really important to think about is core values are based on that sort of good parent thing, like the leadership team, the ownership. They shouldn't have any core values they're not willing to live themselves.
Yes. So
if they're willing to live that, the rest of the team will follow. So no core values on the wall that you don't believe. And I think business, that kind of perspective, if you sort of start from there, you talk about the bread and butter, whatever the term is for that. But if the business sort of runs and starts from there, everything else sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it comes through the customer.
Yeah.
Right? So,
and that's exactly where I stand where I stand now, and everyone who's listening just kind of is following along in our journey. It's just like, I'm at that. Yeah. I have the core values. I have, slowly have built this out to hopefully like we're a culture of like the people who come on like to share their stories, but also I want them to feel like they're friends with us and that they can come back anytime, or if they can utilize us in our network anytime. So that's kind of really what I was anticipating as I grew along. And now it's just really about showing others about that core value. It's like that mission to help others tell their stories is only going to do me so good if I'm the only one listening and I have to go out and tell people more about it. So I'm excited to share that. Even though we have been sharing it, I just know that I have more to give and more to share. So I have to keep cheerleading for myself as much as I cheerlead for others.
100%. I'm excited for your journey.
Thank you.
This like next step is that's a
and you see, I guess you're the kind of person who's also seen this, like someone who's just starting, who's like really excited. Yeah. I also want you to know, I know that there are headaches and hiccups. I am very ready for it. And I'm just waiting for the ball to drop. And I'm like, I got my notepad ready. And like, I'm willing to go through the bumps and bruises. Just because I'm so excited. Like I'm just so enthusiastic about what we do, and nothing can steer me away from it.
And that infectious thing draws customers. It draws all of those things. So good for you. One of the things I talk about too, is this sort of like group of people that support you, right? Like the entrepreneur, the other people, you have this community already. But I think there's such an importance as you're growing a business that you have that community around you. That community sort of helps you, through those questions, those times. I'll be honest, being an entrepreneur, I mean, it's lonely at the top, man. Like people, the employees get to clock out and go home at 5:00, and they don't always think about, the owners worrying about, am I going to make payroll on Friday, or are we going to be able to pay that bill, or whatever those things are. Mm-hmm. That as an entrepreneur, you have to have people around you that sort of support that, and so therefore you're on the same journey.
Yeah. One of the things I would like to ask you is, because this is kind of an organization based on networks, and just how did you kind of come across this, and like how did your first impression of EO Arizona make on you? Yeah.
So real quick story on that. I was, in the throes of growing a business. Yeah. And I joined 10 years ago here in Arizona, and in the throes of growing a business. And I had this friend that took me to lunch and sort of like told me about it. Right. Yeah. And I was like, I'm too busy for that. Right. I don't have time for that. And he was like, no, you really need to talk to the membership. Like you're a successful business guy. You've done a lot of businesses. Yeah. And you're missing this piece. You're missing this like group of people around you, sort of that. Right. And this sort of community. And so I said, fine. So I took the call from the membership chair, and I've got a long story, a long backstory of life. Right. So I was raised like in a really, really conservative environment that didn't sort of allow me to grow. And I kind of left. So a lot of maybe some pain in there. Right. Yeah. And so I told all this to the membership chair at the time. And she was like, the process is you sort of have a story and you get approved. Right? Yeah, absolutely. She's like, I think I can take this to the board and get you approved. I need you to fill out this application and send it in, because in the next couple of days, we're going to the next like like membership process. And so I'm not a writer. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business guy.
Same.
I'm writing is not my thing. Thank goodness for AI these days. But I filled out, the application, like one sentence on each block. She calls me back like 30 minutes later after email and said, "What are you doing? That is not going to work. That is not going to get you membership." She's like, "Rewrite the damn thing the way you told it to me before, and send it back." And so, so I did that, and the rest is sort of history. So
nice.
That, I joined, and, I went through some definite bumps in my life. I went through divorce during that time. I, had a kid go off to college and other stuff. And EO, or Entrepreneurs Organization, was really there for me. We have this thing called Forum, right? And
I think I've heard of maybe. Well, John was telling me about it, and I was like, "Oh, that sounds so great," because I'll let you divulge a little bit more, because it really spoke to me.
Yeah, 100%. So Forum is sort of a group of, everybody's a business owner. There's certain requirements to come in the organization, but your forum is a group of, 6-8 people.
Yeah.
And it's a confidential environment. Yeah. So you can be totally honest and open. We have this thing called what we call the 5%. It's like the 5% that you might not share with your employees or your friends, or maybe even your wife sometimes, right? And having that environment that you can like be an entrepreneur and then be your raw self, that entrepreneurs, really helped me through a lot of things.
Great. So that's I mean, again, I was speaking with John about like the emotional aspect is something that is missed out on some of these networks. We are humans. We respond to that emotional aspect of our lives. Our brains are wired that way. So to me, why not help in that marker, that place where they do, again, like you brought up, there are things that just scare me and just bring me to complete frightened terror. And I'm pretty honest about this. Like the idea of like numbers, like I like numbers, I get math, and it's like, but the scary thing is when it's personalized to you and your ability to provide, like, how good are you at your job sort of thing. When it involves that, my paranoia or like my fear like overwhelms me. But like, oh, we need to do this. It needs to be paid off this way. And you need to also think about having, this be paid first. And I'm like, this is all scary. Like, I don't want, like, it's all overwhelming, but I've grown and like learned to take it little bit by little bit. I'm not a master yet, but I can say that I like my fear is no longer overpowering me to the point where I'm like not doing anything or to like, I'm handling it. I'm making sure that it doesn't paralyze me.
It's not debilitating.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I think what you find in organizations like EO, and and there's a number of them, but I think what you find is that all entrepreneurs feel exactly what you just said. Yeah, like you might look at a business owner that you see as like to you looks wildly successful. Yeah, they feel just what you said. Yeah, that is very normal. And you just don't always, people are scared to sort of have that real raw conversation. Yeah. And I think that's sort of where the growth is. I talk about vulnerability. To me, vulnerability is a superpower. Yeah. If you're willing to be really vulnerable, and I'm not talking, I'm talking like vulnerable, like the kind of stuff that you might be scared to say. Mm-hmm. That's genuine, like vulnerability is a superpower. And entrepreneurs in general, when they feel that from someone else, like there's so much goes with it. On the way over here, I had a call with a friend of mine in LA who's really struggling in his business, large business, and had a multi-million-dollar lawsuit that he lost and is struggling. And just had a call with him, and just on the way I had a few minutes, so I picked up the phone and called him and just like, hey man, I'm there for you. What can I do for you? How can I help you? And that kind of thing, I think, is such an immense value of organizations like EO. For sure. Because they sort of like give that fabric for entrepreneurs to have that place to go with that.
I mean, overall, like when hearing about EO, I look at it in a sense of like, there is this level of like support group that goes along with it. But you've also, again, I go back to like the idea of how business is helping business. is really incredible, because I think there is a level of like the truth behind it's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yep.
And so there is a level of like understanding. It's like, yeah, if you have someone who's doing it just as much and as long as you two, or you have been doing business, it's helpful to like, have that guy or like that person, because I go back to like, let's say the pandemic, when things changed and like, let's say supply systems are low and you have to, figure out, well, how am I going to make this work? It's good to have that local person that you can lean on, like, oh, you can help me supply this, or you can help me at least figure out a circumnavigate this issue that I'm having. It's like, it's good to have that network of support. The other aspect to it is that you guys do something that I found really interesting, in the sense of like, your membership has a process of approval. And one of the ones that like, it's a financial way of like, you're really trying to make sure that you're getting in people who are just really one another, are helping each other and networking and working hard towards their business and entrepreneurs. And I was really incredible. The other thing that I would like to have you talk about is those who are in your membership, and the difference between that and then the what is it? The starter accelerator.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. So the membership in NEO has a revenue requirement, right? So $1 million in US dollars and above is the revenue requirement in annual revenue.
Yeah.
But then we have a program called EO Accelerator.
Yes.
And Accelerator is $250K and above. The difference is obviously a lower revenue requirement.
Yeah.
But Accelerator is run a bit more like a coaching program. Okay. So EO members essentially are accountability guides or accountability coaches for the accelerator groups. And so they sort of a little bit more meat and potatoes kind of business. So when people start a business, they, it's like, hey, what should be in the P&L, and what even is a P&L, right?
Yeah.
So those kind of things are sort of like taught, if you will, in Accelerator. Mm-hmm. And you start to have that forum environment, and there's still some other learning there as well.
Yeah.
But it's sort of the entire goal is to get you from 250 to $1 million, right?
Yep.
And above, and get you on your path. Yeah. EO is a little bit different from the aspect of there's no paid coaches or guides or anything like that. It's all the forums are all individuals, right?
Yeah.
And it's a nonprofit organization, so like everything is for the member value.
Can I ask if the forums are hand selected or if they're chosen by the individuals?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
Honestly. So it depends. For instance, you might not want to be in a forum. If you own a real estate brokerage, you might not want to be in a forum for another one, right?
Yeah.
So there's some conflict stuff like that. It's like, hey, let's make sure that, we have there's no conflicts. Mm-hmm. And then some of it is also fit of forum. So the forum itself might have, for instance, they might go on retreat on long retreats, right? And somebody is like, well, I got a young family, and I can't do that, right? So those are sort of like fit, ideas for the individual. So the individual still sort of makes a choice, but we sort of line them up. We say, hey, look, this forum is a good fit for you.
Good.
And then EO Arizona has, a large number of forums. So we have 185 members, I think, at the moment.
Well, yeah.
And so, not everybody's in a forum, but most are.
Yeah. Some
of the other things we do, like we have really amazing learning events. Like we have a large budget that we spend on bringing in speakers for the year. Mm-hmm. We've got our learning event launching next week. Dr. David Agus, that is leading biomedical research guy. So
nice.
Very exciting learning event there. And then we also have EO Alchemy coming up here.
I've heard about this. Yeah. This is the other one that I wanted to get to you to talk to you about.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry.
No, got it.
But it's our regional event. So the U.S. West essentially has 19 chapters. Mm-hmm. So Arizona, Colorado, L.A., San Diego, that kind of thing. And we have a regional event, and it happens to be here in Scottsdale this year.
Oh,
I happen to be chair.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, I was like, what a cool, couple of, you must be at least somewhat like nervous, and then also like pulling all of this and organizing this all together can be daunting.
It's very exciting. And we're bringing in Jesse Itzler, who founder of Zico Water, married to Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. and some other amazing speakers.
Absolutely.
So yeah, we're going to Phoenix Raceway. Latasha,
Nice.
the president there, we're speaking with her. She's the first and maybe the only, don't quote me on this, but the first Black woman president in NASCAR.
Yep.
So really, really good story there. Super exciting stuff with that event. So we're very excited to have a lot of Arizona focus this year.
Yes.
And EO, but EO in general is a large global organization. So it's 30,000 members worldwide.
Yeah.
Approximately. And, all around the world, amazing chapters. So
I'm excited for you because again, it's like there is a level of like Arizona. If those of you who are listening, it's like for me, who's already a fan, and I'm like, again, just someone who just has his ear to the ground. As Arizona or in Phoenix in general has grown and just size, but in population and also economic growth.
Yep.
What are the things that excite you? I mean, this is a particularly exciting time that you guys are bringing to the table in the next couple of days, but also on top of that, just Phoenix in general. I mean, take a look. Like this map is from the 80s.
Oh, wow.
And that west, like all that farmland, that's all
houses now.
That's all houses now. Glendale and Peoria.
Yep.
And so, and that's only 2 decades ago. And so as we've grown, it's like, what excites you? Like what's bringing you the most excitement from this big increase, from the tech market?
Yeah.
I've also heard levels of like Hollywood wanting to join the Scottsdale area to become
this is amazing.
Yeah. This is a big growth in a lot of things for this city.
Well, I'm very pro Arizona and very, very pro for a number of reasons, but I will say that the Phoenix area in general has just got so much opportunity.
Yeah.
Right. And it's not one vertical opportunity, it's spread out opportunity. Right. So you mentioned tech, you mentioned, Hollywood, like these are all sort of completely different things.
Yeah.
And what that does, I think for people like me is, from a supporting business perspective, I spent a lot of my time in kind of home service businesses, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the reason for that was strategic because what the general American spends the largest portion of their income on is where they live. Whether you own the house or you rent it, it's sort of immaterial. Hey, there's the dog.
Yeah.
It's sort of immaterial. Hey,
hi, sweetheart. Okay.
What are you doing?
Yeah. She wants to join.
Yeah.
Say hi. She wants to make an appearance. Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
There you
go ahead.
go.
Let me get you going. Come on. I'll be right back. Let's go. Thank you. Okay. I'll be right back.
She's like, come on, Dad.
Let's play.
It's time to play.
It's time to play.
About?
Yeah.
Yeah. But talking about that, I think the opportunity in Arizona is also the support economy.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like with TMC and some of these other people coming in, and these are really good jobs. Right. And so good jobs means, people in the Valley that are spending money in the Valley and what I'm very bullish on is sort of the support economy. Because I think businesses that are sort of like boring businesses is kind of what I've made my living on, right? The plumbers, the HVACs, the people like that, right?
Yeah.
Those have no, you need all of those.
Yeah.
Right.
There's not a day where you won't see.
You won't need that.
Yeah. Right? It's like, they call it, well, I think the millennials call it like the blue collar jobs, like essentially those types of vocational, they have to have some level of like understanding of like where these things lead to, all the plumbing and all the wiring and what they can accomplish. But it's again, you're utilizing that stuff on a daily basis. And there's never a time where you don't turn on a light bulb or you don't go to the bathroom or you don't take a shower and use water. So those things are important because they're key vital things that we use for ourselves on a daily.
Yep. And I think that our state has done a pretty good job of setting up opportunities for companies to come here.
Yeah.
And sort of, use Phoenix as that spot. Mm-hmm. And because what we're also seeing on the outside is restaurants, unique restaurants, like it's becoming a foodie scene.
Well, it's like you get award-winning chefs here. Yeah. And then what I was saying to someone else not too long ago, it's like, I'm so glad that it's not the 3 largest cities anymore.
Yeah.
I'm glad that there's varieties of these winners now because I've always believed that storytelling comes from a culture of
100%.
A variety.
Yep.
You know, the most interesting stories come from backgrounds that you've probably never heard of, or you would have very little experience in knowing about. So to me, when I see a Latina or a Chicano, I'm getting recognition for the food that culturally they grew up with, and
100%.
and has such a vital part to their childhood and so much more to their story of their family and whatnot. It means so much more because it's like, holy cow, like, take a look at this. And so for me, I was like, it's really nice to see the level of variety that comes, and not just from the three largest cities. Well, I'm speaking of New York, Chicago, and LA, but now you're like even getting smaller, like Nashville. You're getting like smaller even more to like some of the Midwest getting recognition. And to me, I love that the fact that technology is like a pivotal foundational piece to that, where it's like, well, now we've opened up the door to opportunity for smaller markets.
100%. Just before you get away from it, culture through food is a very interesting thing to me. I've traveled all over the world, been to 67 countries in all 50 states. And when you were saying that, I remembered a time I was in Oaxaca for Day of the Dead.
Yes.
And Oaxaca has, I think, 75 or 80 different mole varieties.
Yes, it's much so.
Crazy. Yeah. It is so good. Like anybody listening, if you want someplace cool to go check out Oaxaca. I've been all over Mexico, and I will tell you, Oaxaca is pretty cool.
A fun little story. So my wife and I, we get married October of the second week in October. And then we were planning, I was like, her biggest dream was always to go to Day of the Dead in Mexico City. Yeah. I was like, well, why don't we make that our honeymoon?
There you go.
And so she's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, I've never been. I've always wanted to see Mexico City. And like, it's really cool because my education, my former career was landscape architecture.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So Mexico City is a big place to go check out some of that from Mexican culture. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so that was an experience in itself because, you know, I've never been to that country, like been that far into Mexico. And also on top of that, it was just a unique experience because of the holiday. Everything was different. Like everything had its kind of like, you could see there was a bustling city, but it's like, it slowed down almost even more because it was the holiday. It was like such a unique and fun time for us to go explore as like people who were coming to visit, because everyone was on board for it. They're like, come on in, like, sure, like, take a look. This is what we want, what we have and what we're celebrating. And it was so beautiful. I loved everything about it.
So good. I think the Mexican culture does holidays so much better than Americans, right? Like, and I've been to Mexico City a few times, and it's such a massive city. But I've been there. I was there for New Year's once. Yeah, and it was amazing. It's just amazing the vibe and the cultural vibe with holidays in Mexico. But yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
And you'll start to see more and more of that throughout the city. I mean, there's all sorts. I mean, it's like because I get to share these stories. It's like it's so cool to get invited to little events and parties and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, I get to explore this giant city and just the different cultures and people in it. And so it's just been fun to just say, it's like, this city is growing, but it's a melting pot of
100%.
like all sorts of shapes and sizes. And there will be something for you. You just got to look. You just got to explore and look. Yeah. And that being said, I would love to just pick your brain about just some of the future of EOA Arizona, and in particular too, your future as well. I mean, as you've grown as a coach and just as a person who has a kind of a background in this, is there somewhat of a level of like, I'm ready for retirement, or just ready to like, you know, take it easy and just let the younglings take over? But it's like, also it's like, do you have a set plan? Like, is there in your space? Because you had brought up to me, it's like, I'll be honest, I'm 35 going on 36, and my son's 4. And so I'm at a critical time where I'm like, I can't get hurt. I shouldn't get hurt. I shouldn't be doing crazy, obstacle courses and, jumping into whatever. But the level of like, I want a plan, or like I need a plan, has never been more up in my face as of right now.
Nothing like a 4-year-old to straighten that
absolutely.
100%.
It's like it too. It's like he's in preschool, but he's also like just starting out and getting into sports and like, what route. I'm so excited because it's an open floor of like opportunity of like, he can do anything he wants and I would be happy.
It's an amazing time for both of you. But I think for me, coaching for me and helping businesses, grow their businesses is sort of a calling. I was doing mentor mentee for free before. And after I sold my business, I just decided to start charging for that, basically is what I mean.
Sure.
But I just, for me, it's so fulfilling, to help a business grow.
Yeah.
We sort of do this in quarterly sprints, essentially. So it's like a leadership team comes in. I spend all day with that leadership team, sort of like getting in the weeds of the business and sort of working through what the next quarter is going to look like and sort of building out the plan for where they want to go. And then I also do one-on-one coaching with the CEOs as well and whatever the members of the leadership team that need help throughout the quarter. But that aspect of just being involved and helping them get to the next level, out of 11 businesses, 8 of those businesses were past $10 million in revenue.
Beautiful.
And so I've built a lot of businesses sort of through these ceilings that people like entrepreneurs struggle with. And having that opportunity as a coach and guide to sort of help them on their path.
Yeah.
Is amazing. I use a boxer analogy, right?
Yeah.
Boxer comes back to the corner, bell rings, boxer comes back to the corner, trainer wipes his eye and says, "Hey, the guy's dragging his foot before he throws that hook." The boxer's just trying to get killed out there. He's just like, he didn't see it.
Yeah.
But now he goes back out there and he sees it and he ducks and he throws the right hook, knocks him out. Right. That's my job as a coach.
The outside looking at it.
Yeah. It's like what you see as an entrepreneur is right in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm helping you see sort of these corners, right? Like these things you might not be thinking of. And that is so rewarding. So the question about retirement, I don't think ever, man. I love, I don't need to own the business anymore. What I want to do is like really help other people. Yeah. It's a calling for me and it's very fulfilling.
Yeah.
And time is, man, I would close the door in the coaching room and I spend a whole day with the team.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the time was. It's just really how it feels.
Nice.
Now to EO, our goal with EO is, to, influence, this global, group of entrepreneurs, right? Mm-hmm. And in EO's Arizona, sort of help them on their path and provide, member value for that, right? Mm-hmm. We're a nonprofit organization. So every dollar we take in comes back to the member in value. And our goal is to, continue to grow the chapter. We're sort of selective. We don't just take everyone, right? There's,
of course, there's a level because again, we go back to like this, just even joining something like this, there's a level of vulnerability that you have to provide to 100%. Even, and some people aren't ready for that. And that's
no assholes allowed.
Yeah. It's a choice. It's like you choose, to do this. So I go and look at just what you guys are providing and just being enthusiastic. But again, I go back to like the foundational things, the things that you've brought up to us as far as looking at the person, not just the individual business. You have to help guide the person behind it rather than just guide the railings of the business. You're also helping the core individual as well. So overall, I think it's all good. And having someone like yourself too, especially as the leader of this group and just overall guiding where the future is going to lead. It's really great to have your voice here today, because again, the thing about this program or the thing about this show is my intention is to always kind of give people the opportunity to put a face to the name. Yeah. But also there's a level of like, I want the owner to at least get something out of it. And so the one thing I hope is that the vulnerability aspect will allow someone to connect with you on some sort of human factor or some human level, so that they can feel like, hey, I want to give that person a chance, or like, hey, I want to learn more about this business. And so hopefully that's what we've achieved with all of our guests.
I love conversations. Yeah. So for me, I'm a connection guy. Like, I love conversations. I'll go to coffee or whatever nice. With anybody, and
I love it.
Have a phone call, whatever I can do to help. But I just love having a conversation. I think similar to you, probably like having this is the reason you do this, right? Because you have a conversation, and so I'm a little bit similar to that. I'm not gifted techie wise, so I'm on other people's podcasts.
Skilled learn.
But yeah, for me, that I'm happy to go to coffee with anyone. People reach out, we're happy to.
Well, I'm going to be taking you up on that offer, because again, I'm like, we've talked about off air on this. It's like, I'm at a critical point right now, or like at least a changing point, and to have as many, just seasoned vets, like just giving me guidance, or at least giving, telling me in the ear, like, hey, you should probably think about this. Yeah. I'll take it, because it's like anything will help me. And at the end of the day, this is one part a legacy piece. It's for the little guy to like, hey, dad did something that he was very proud of, and did something that he'd love to do. And maybe I can do something like that in the future.
100%. Yeah, that's amazing.
So awesome. Thank you again for being with us and giving us a little bit of your time. I usually let everyone know where they can find you online, but I want to give you the floor. Go ahead and tell everyone your social media handles, website name, if there's a physical address or phone number, and then give them the dates for the Alchemy. If they ever give them where they can join the membership. I should probably say they should be a member first before the Alchemy comes up. So yes, go ahead. Give them. The floor is yours.
Yeah. If there's an EO listening, Alchemy is for October 14 to 16. But the way membership works, essentially, they would sort of apply through our membership process. The website's eoarizona.com, or entrepreneurs, or say entrepreneursnetwork.com as well, I believe. I should know that. eonetwork.com, I think it is. So just Google Entrepreneurs Organization Arizona. That works. For myself, I work with a coaching firm called Next Level Growth.
Yes.
So nextlevelgrowth.com is our website, but my personal contact is Chad. Just email is the best way. Just Chad@nextlevelgrowth.com.
Awesome.
LinkedIn obviously is another way, but Chad Nickel, Nikkl is my name.
I love it. And then you gave me a book. I want to talk a little bit about the book and just give us a little. It's right here. Yep. Let me grab it.
Yep.
So give us a little bit of a rundown on this guy.
You bet. So 5 obsessions of elite organization. So one of the things that we do at Next Level Growth is really work on building you into an elite organization. Right?
Yes.
So we've got a whole kind of framework around that on the 5 obsessions that you as an entrepreneur sort of need to focus on to build an elite organization.
Okay.
And that's what this book does. It sort of goes through that. So, and this is like a real world, not just to sell you anything. It's like a lot of really good stuff in there. And Michael Ureth, our the coaching founder of that, he wrote the book. So excited for you to read it and give me your thoughts on it and see what you think. But
thank you. And then, you know what? This will be a test. I'm going to finish this. And after I'm finished, you and I are going to go for coffee.
There you go.
I'm
excited.
And me too. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I have high hopes for EOA Arizona and Next Level. Just someone like yourself who's got a wealth of experience, but also willingness and openness enough to want to share is incredible.
100%.
So before we go, you can hear every episode of our podcast at findingarizonapodcast.com. We make it easy for you guys to connect with us. That's Finding Arizona Podcast under everything. And then before I forget, check us out. Website, www.findingarizonapodcast.com, but also social media under Finding Arizona Podcast. And I messed this up, but last but not least, we say kisses, hugs, and belly rubs to our 4-legged friends, and we will see you next time.